And we are back. We're back. That's right. It's
Hooray!
been a month already. Scary, huh? We're all getting old.
I mean, this year has felt like it's been like a bajillion years inside every month, and then suddenly it's June. That's what it feels like to me.
Honestly, at the end of the day, all that matters is we are U.F.F. Untitled Fan Favorites. And I had a whole spiel. I've got this like little opener that I've been working on, and I remembered it fully when I was grabbing my drink there in the kitchen, and it's gone now.
Whoops.
Yeah, everything is lost. So instead, we'll just say this is Chesh, who is doing some stretches.
I'm stretching, don't mind me. I really need to. I like my body.
I think that's only going to get more people into view, honestly, especially the guys who hate you. You can't believe typical leftist. You can't do stretches right.
Actually, I'm at the point where I am back to able to touch the ground with my fingies.
Fuck it.
So that's pretty good. Because I was at the point where I wasn't able to do that. And this is the stretch that I told you about earlier. You just take like a t-shirt or something and you hold it wherever you're comfortable. Like if you hold it closer in, it's more difficult. If you hold it wider out, it's easier. And it's just all the way back and around and then just hold it out here. And it's just like, oh my God, it just stretches this one, like your rotator in your shoulder. And it's like, it's so good.
Yep.
And you just hold it. Anyway, hi.
Hello. So, standard chill, links in the doobly-doo, and also we're still looking for the third person to have on up there, for I am the hands, and up there will be the mouth, and perhaps the heart, because this is all about what they love, and Chesh is all about that fancy set.
The heart of the cards.
The real fandom is the friends who made along the way.
Oh my God, that's not how fandoms work. Fandoms are the worst to each other.
I know, isn't it great?
It's
I'm
wonderful.
a 40k fan. Like I know how deep that rabbit hole goes, especially now that since they added fucking female custodies. Oh, that was a conversation to have.
I like it when people fight about dumb things that don't matter and they get riled up about the dumb things that don't matter because then you can just walk away and it doesn't matter.
Right.
But like the female custodes thing was just like weeding out all the incel chuds from
It was great. We became the gatekeepers they wanted to be. It was awesome.
Wonderful.
But listen, I have a bad habit of procrastinating these. Chesh can take as long as she needs to, as well as giving us her erotic fan dance.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. Oh, and very quickly, just gotta say this.
By the way, if you are trying to follow along with what I'm stretching here, don't stretch in a way that it like actually hurts you. Like just stretch until it's like uncomfortable and maybe like a little bit of an ache. If it hurts, stop.
Yeah, there's like that whole thing of feel the burn is not exactly what they mean when it's like, and then you hear a large snap. You know,
yeah,
like,
you stretch to the point, yeah, you push to the point of collapse, but you don't like hurt yourself.
No, I found a good routine, which, considering how I got my sciatica, was just sitting there for hours on end for years without moving, tends to, you need to start figuring out how to do this to fix shit. I'll tell you now. I'll just do this while we're talking, just so I can get back into the rhythm. Yeah, no, fuck this noise of just standing still. I've had to do 24-hour streams where I've sat away and like have to do like an hour on the treadmill. And
activating combat
mode.
Out of the way.
Because you can't just spend all day.
Got him. Later.
Yeah, it's really not good. One of the things that I've noticed since I've gotten a little bit back into a routine that lets me move around is that I actually want to move around more.
Your B-day is next Friday. Congratulations.
Happy Happy birthday!
Activating combat mode.
You have a good.
Take that!
So what's making our way on here?
Oh,
Oh,
level
yeah.
16.
Resolved.
Nice. I think we can go back to our sweet boy Sephiroth now.
The boy with the hair and the face and the fire.
And his
the
own
mother?
his own
Activating
choir at
combat
any
mode.
given time.
and his cloak of billowing.
You think that he just takes a poop while moving?
I mean, where's a better place to breathe?
Let's go. I just got this new chocobo attack.
Warm-up's over.
Let's do this chocobo stuff. This is
Let's go! Chocobo stuff.
Oh my god, he's doing the chocobo stuff.
Nice.
I was having a conversation with some of the guys that live here, and we were talking about like Pokemon. We started talking about Digimon, and we were just getting into like the absolute absurdity that is Digimon. Like it's just ridiculous. It's just absolute bonkers.
Conflict
So-
resolved.
I was losing it, and I was like, that's one of the reasons why I like Final Fantasy, because it is absurd, like inherently on its face, stupid. Like it's just dumb, and conceptually idiotic, and it's like good. That's what I want. That's what I'm here for.
I was saying this. I was watching a video of somebody talking about the aesthetics of Morrowind, where all the inspiration of it came from and everything. And I said one thing I like is, no matter how absurd a world is, if it's normal in that world, you sell it as such. That's why the D&D world was fucking brilliant in the movie, because he was because there was all this craziness, and it was just a given. Of course, this world exists in the same world as like dwarfs, gnomes, all manner of elves, wizards of all variety, like demons, dragons, whatever. Like it's just why shouldn't it? That's how you sell it. You can't just be like, derp, look how silly it is, and you can do that, but you know, imagine if they tried to tell a story like Final Fantasy VII without it being as like without them being able to balance that. It wouldn't have worked.
Yeah, you gotta take it. You have to play it straight, right? You take the absurdity and you play it like it's normal. Like the chocobos are just accepted. They're just normal.
Yep.
Right.
Anyway, here's our sweet boy.
Project G gave birth to the man we know as Genesis.
Jared.
Project G.
Project Genesis. Contrary to this report, Genesis showed clear signs of change.
Feel better?
Degrading.
Not only that,
Yes, actually, yeah.
Awesome.
Quite a bit.
Copies.
All loosened up now.
abominations.
Unlike me, who's perfect.
Sephiroth.
Hollander,
Yeah.
I thought I'd find you here.
Quaffing your hair as always.
You want to do something to me, eh? But then,
Bet
who
he
will
does.
stop Genesis and Angeal's degradation?
So fluffy. It's got wings.
Ew.
Been drinking Red Bull. Seriously, where's the Sephiroth Genesis and Geo Red Bull commercial?
Genesis.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Eh. Sure, someone's on it.
You won't take
Would
Hollander.
you just fuck?
Zach, go.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach.
No,
you
I
take-
want to
oh,
watch you two touch each other. You're not cool enough. You get to go.
I think Genesis doesn't even pretend to try to stop him. He's like, no, I don't fucking care.
There is no hate, only joy, for you are beloved by the goddess. Hero of the dawn, healer of worlds.
Loveless again. You never change.
Two friends go into battle. One is captured. One flies away. The one that is left becomes a hero.
A common story.
If we were to enact it, would I be the one to play the hero? Or would you?
It's all yours.
Indeed.
Sephiroth's like, I don't fucking want anything to deal with this.
After all, your glory should have been mine.
Which I don't
How
see you
very,
as a arena
In
in Kingdom
hindsight,
Hearts.
perhaps.
We all know who wins this fight.
Now what I
It
want
you
most
even referenced
is the
literally
gift
anywhere.
of the goddess.
Someone's fanfiction characters. I wonder if they want a raffle to be put into it. Some like 19-year-old fucking girl. They're like, and then he's so cool. He's likes Sephiroth, but he's not Sephiroth. He has one win.
You won't get away.
I don't know. This
Where's
doesn't look
Angeal?
like
Tell
girl
me.
fanfiction. This looks like boy fanfiction to me. There's not
Remember
enough open mouth kissing.
True, but maybe they had to go through editors. Like, okay, can we stop the constant trips to
He's
the
getting away.
bathhouses? I don't think they're gonna add
I
much
don't-
to the story. More bathhouse scenes.
That I would buy. This constant bloviating
Activating
about
combat mode.
heroics is very like male.
Male,
dominated.
yes.
It's not only like everybody's got their shtick, but like this has like this poetic hero
Conflict
complexitive.
resolved.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Unfortunately, this is really deep.
kind of reminds me when it's one of early
Activating combat mode.
bomber guys.
There's
Sorry, what?
somebody in the chat asked if the Sephiroth Rio commercial is like a L'Oreal commercial. So there is a Kitsune Sephiroth noodle commercial.
Yep,
Conflict
I've seen
resolved.
it.
It's so funny. There was also like a bunch of Nokia commercials when Advent Children came out. Super funny. Did you know that Ever Crisis came out with an alternate universe high school storyline for the Final Fantasy VII characters?
No, but like I'm not even remotely. What was?
Surprised? I mean, I'm not surprised. You know, he's gonna hide right behind the door. And this actually I missed him!
He's like, huh?
Activating combat
I'm
mode.
glad he was right behind.
Sorry for the delayed reaction on that one. I'm actually watching both streams at once. I'm a little bit surprised that they did that. Not because like I think they shouldn't do it, but because like I'm just so used to them very much not doing anything outside of like the direct stuff. Like Georgia Cerberus isn't like an alternate universe, you know what I mean? So like for them to do a full-on alternate is pretty. I think it's pretty interesting. It opens the door, I guess.
Sure, it opens a lot of things.
Activating combat mode.
Pops a cherry, if you will.
It's I'm going with so many like innuendos, and I've kind of over-innuendoed myself while I'm also fighting
Oh,
monsters.
there's so many options I can't choose.
I'm overly educated. I can't think of which reference to go to. Curse my many
Well-
years of self-education on this subject.
Star in the chat said, okay, question. What is the implication of monsters just hanging out in areas where repairmen and other people
Activating
need to
combat
be
mode.
in? Do regular people just avoid the monsters as they work? So, there's a couple of different things, right? So if you're in like the sewer systems, for example, or you're in like the sort of, I'm gonna call it the undercarriage of the plate in Midgar, right? There are monsters that live in those areas,
Activating
but the
combat mode.
only people who go there are Shinra employees, and they're supposed, like, if you're a repair person, you're supposed to be being escorted by Shinra bodyguards, like Shinra soldiers, and that's like the original point of the Shinra guards. Right? They're supposed to protect people as they're doing work in dangerous areas that Shinra then extrapolated into its own army.
So,
Conflict resolved.
I think that to garner support, Shinra would do something like launch culls of the monsters. But also, what about all the crazy robots and the like? Are they like default weapons that have been abandoned by Shinra?
I think that they're supposed to be security because usually when you're running through these areas in Final Fantasy VII, you're not supposed to be there. Yeah.
Out in the wild, I know in the original it suggested that a lot of oh god, the dance here. Come on, give us a dance.
You can do it, Zach.
Come on, do it. Yay!
Little Johnny.
Yeah,
You can do it, Zach.
but yeah, it's implied that like it's NATO energy not only is it sapping the world of its health, it's also twisting native animals or making worse parasite animals come out more often.
Activating combat mode.
Yeah, so there are creatures that have been like developed by Shinra in some cases, and that like and test subjects. There are also that have then gone out into the world and then proceeded to continue to exist. And exist for long periods of time, so that they're basically they become part of the ecosystem, as toxic or not. It doesn't really matter. They don't really go into too much of like the ecospheres in these games. Not like specific ecosystems.
No, with a throwaway line like in Final Fantasy 3 or 4 saying that as long as the world is
Conflict resolved.
Oh yeah. But yeah, that's different because each of the universes are their own universe. You're gonna have different answers. So like for example, Final Fantasy VIII, the monsters are from the moon.
That's
whatever
right,
the fuck.
The moonfall. It's a big part of the plots, and it's. I actually really like that.
Hollander, you can't escape.
And 9 has to do with the fog, right? The mist that they use to hide a bit shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't hate the monsters come from the moon. It just seemed really like out of nowhere. It's like, what?
I
really
like
never
how it's a
allowed-
natural phenomenon up to recently in their society that they just have to ignore.
Yeah.
It also explains why their society couldn't pass like 1970s technology up to quite recently because their TV network was all like landlines. Packets.
Yeah.
That was a nice touch. It didn't add much to the story, but it did show how their world would adapt. What didn't make sense was like resort towns with no walls. Like
I do like also, the seeds. I do like, though, by the way, watching Zach here unable to keep up with one scientist.
Who's clearly out of breath every 5 seconds.
Have you considered just rolling a stick at him?
Activating combat mode.
Hello, welcome. I think that there's a degree of like big question mark face. You know what I mean? Like,
there's some things that he's never going to explain. Like they explain it, they try to explain it in 13.
Oh god, I can't talk about it. There's a degree of like when you get creatures like this, right, where they're like clearly machines that are more outside in the world than 7. They are usually around like major Shinra outposts though. So they're either security or they are ones that have been revamped. So like the ones that you find like in the slums, in the garbage, where it's like they were never actually turned off, they were just dumped. And so now they're just like roving around, not doing anything, but they're just attacking people if you come across them, or they're activating when you come across them. So you've got stuff like that going on because Shinra is negligent, right?
Yeah.
So that's like anytime you see them in the world, that's kind of what's going on. They're not unsimilar to the same sort of concept as the Guardians in Breath of the Wild. They're just not as fleshed out. Because the answer is Shinra just sucks.
I always thought that when Shinra was making the place, they used a lot of the robots to build it, and afterwards just kind of left them there. And now that they're just like a band, they're just typically strange and robots and shit.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, that's the guy we haven't met yet.
Here we go! Go, go, go!
Oh, that's Cloud.
Yeah,
I recognize the cross.
Conflict resolved.
In Final Fantasy VIII, apparently the monsters just climb on top of each other and make a teardrop like projectiles to land on the planet and have monsters and stuff. Yeah, no, you got it. You got it right.
Hollander,
it's so
do you understand what you're
whatever.
doing?
I think Final Fantasy VIII tried to take itself too seriously. Oh,
Working
that's
for Hollander
Angeal's
now.
sword.
What is it you're after?
World domination.
That's not even funny, man.
I don't know, I found it funny.
What are we doing tonight, Pinky?
Angel!
I do like the idea that Angel and Zach are Pinky and the Brain, respectively.
Who's who? Oh, never mind. I don't have to.
I've become a monster.
Oh God, fuck off!
A
This is what I'm
monster's
saying. This
objective
is
is
such
usually
girl,
world domination
17-year-old
or
in a
revenge.
book that she keeps under her bed, and she's
I have
panting
sparkly
heavily as
skin.
she's
I am a
wrong.
vampire.
Those aren't the wings of a monster.
What was that show or movie where like recently?
Why? Because they're white in color?
Yeah.
Angel's wings.
I see.
I'm molting.
Should
You know that
an angel
happens
fight
before
for
I'm
sanity?
dead, right? Really?
What do
No.
angels dream of?
Oh. Guys, you don't understand it. It's more
To be-
beautiful in the original Japanese.
To be fair, this is the type of dialogue you only get out of a
Angel.
man.
Angels dream of one thing.
Like
Please,
this
tell
this
me.
kind of like emotional downgrade, like or emotional degradation. You know what I mean? Where like there are very few female characters that go through this kind of a story arc in this way, where they get a power. They're like, I am a monster. I have to destroy everything. It's like, you think it's a bit extreme? Like the guy's name
Defend
was
yourself.
already Angel.
I want you to hit me again. Okay, we didn't have a safe word.
I mean, that is defending yourself. Like, he crossed a block
I
it.
clipped
That
off the
is
map.
defending yourself. Oh, goodbye, he's clipped through the world. So long, Zach.
That was a short game. Okay, never mind.
At the end, he's dead.
Yeah, that's the end of chapter 3, anyway.
It blew up the floor, but not his arms. Yep.
It was more dramatic that way.
Right. I mean, you know. The drama. That's a good word for this. This is melodramatic. That's a good word for what's going on here.
I want to help out a friend.
Oh no, he's doing the cloud
I
thing.
don't know how I can do it.
Hello?
Oh no!
Wow. You
Everybody
see Sigmund
open
Freud just
that.
opening up his little book. Yeah, you just keep on talking, yeah. I'm just writing
Hooray.
some of this down.
I like that they don't have her looking at the camera.
Kevin?
Not quite. It's a church.
Which we don't know who this is
An
a church
angel?
to, by the way.
You see crosses now
No,
and again
I'm
in
Aaron.
the original, so yeah, and they mention God,
You fell
afterlife.
from the sky.
Huh?
Well, they mention
Scared me.
Gaia, the world. I don't think they mention God.
So you saved me, huh?
They mention
Not
the
really.
Promised Land.
But they have angels in their
Hello?
mythology,
That's all I did.
so I wonder where they play a part.
That random spot was above a church as well. Not even above the church. Yeah, exactly. How the fuck did he
But
land
this is
here?
also
Aerith.
right next to a
Zach.
reactor?
I have to repay you somehow.
Oh, you think maybe Eris like
Don't worry
psychically
about it.
made him
No,
appear
no.
on that? She tapped into the life force.
Aha. Hey.
I wish I
don't
had a
think
boyfriend. Wow, smash.
What is
I'm
that?
bored.
Don't be silly.
Genova saved Zach. Yeah, I have a theory that
Stop.
when Aerith leaves
Don't
for
step on the
the
flowers.
Forgotten City
Hmm.
on her own,
Excuse
right
me?
before she gets
Normally,
yeeted out of existence by
people are more
Sephiroth,
careful with
just before she gets shish kebabbed.
Well, I guess I'm not normal.
Cloud has like a dream where she's talking to him.
Oh,
I don't think that's Aerith. I'm pretty sure
I
that's
don't
just
see a lot of
Genova.
flowers in Midgar. They're like luxury items around here.
I haven't
They
played it in the
only
new
grow
one,
here.
though, so I don't know how they
want
have
Although-
it.
in the new one.
I planted
Do
some
they
outside my
flesh
house
out
too.
Genova's character? Because I want
I
her
were
to just
you,
be more of a
I'd
bitch.
sell them.
Like,
I don't-
fuck with
Full
people
of
more often.
flowers. Your
As far
wallet's
as
full
I
of money.
know, and as far as I've played, so combining information that I've heard
full
and
of
information that I've
flowers.
experienced, no, they don't flesh
Wallet
her out as a
full of
person or a
money?
character at all, which I'm kind of okay with. I like her being the thing.
But she does kind of
Never
like
thought
fuck
of it
with people.
that way.
Yes, but knowing her motivations out beyond.
No, that would be fine to avoid that. But I mean, just her fucking with people more often, like enjoying their misery, because she is a parasite, so she probably wants people to suffer as they die.
Well, they don't really, from my understanding, they don't really show whether or not she's enjoying it, but they do make some of the times that Genova is fucking with people more clear than in the first one. Because I think the first one was very much, its storytelling was limited by like the technology at the time, so you're looking at 2D sprites, or 3D sprites, so you weren't really able to tell some of what was going on, but in the more advanced graphics, you were able to like see a little bit more often, like the changes in Cloud's face when it is Soldier Cloud versus Cloud versus Cloud being influenced by his memories of Zack. Quote unquote, which may be more literal in the new one. In is very metaphorical in the original, but it might be more literal in the new one because it's possible that Zack's essence, what part of it was absorbed into Cloud, so it's less of Cloud having a mental breakdown and more of no, there's literally a piece of Zack inside of him.
Look
But I don't know.
any religious symbol, because I find nothing except maybe this Cairo here. That could just be a decal. I'm not.
It almost looks like an ankh at the front.
Well, yeah, Cairo. It's the you know what that is. It's the symbol, the one Constantine put on his cross, his shield.
Yeah.
And then after they converted to Christianity and blah blah blah. I think I think you've heard enough from Christians today.
Yeah, there's not. Oh my god.
No, Joe. No. We're here to have fun, not here to.
You can't make me do it. No,
I don't want to go back into the screaming room again. Aren't you screaming most of the time? I'm screaming for a reason.
Stop.
Yeah, Genova puts a new layer to my eyes
stop.
are here.
What if it
It's
was...
because Genova doesn't have a human body. Genova doesn't actually have like a female human body.
No. She's
a thing.
Yeah, she's just a big organism that eats worlds, but not like Galactus. She's more, I see her more like a big amoeba that just spreads out and then just devours it the old-fashioned way. The thing I want to know is if what'd be really cool, and they'd have no way in hell of doing this. What if you could like convince Genova to stop in a very anime sort of style by giving her like a knowledge of like friendship and love. And
you're gonna pull a Naruto?
I'm gonna pull a Steven Universe. It's this Cloud just screaming, crying at her. We can be friends.
I know that seems like a very not Cloud thing to do. That seems like a very
Easter egg ending.
The exit?
An Easter like the same like the
That
dog
door.
in Resident or Silent Hill.
Yeah, you're breaking.
Dog
of course,
ending.
it's you, and it's the fucking shimmy.
Going already?
Is it possible that the experiments they
look at
do
the
on
flowers.
Genova was
A
part of
little
her
more.
becoming more parasitic, like them inserting cells into people, or did she insert cells into people on other planets? So we don't know really what she did on other planets, or if she even necessarily consumed her other planet. She arrived on a comet, basically. She arrived on a meteor, and then was trapped by the agents because she was causing havoc because she is a predator, right? For all intents and purposes, right? She's a predator that's
So,
like a quote
where are
unquote
you
ambush
going?
predator, and the way she hides among
Don't know.
her prey and then consumes them. And consumes individuals at a time, and she survives
I'll
by
take you.
causing like confusion, right? So she's not necessarily even trying to take over the
Where?
world. She's just trying to survive, and then once she's consumed an amount of
Dunno.
life on the planet, she
You just want to
presumably
spend more time with
leaves.
me.
But part of that is just sort of Sephiroth's bloviation. It might not actually be Genova's real intention, right? Because the Sephiroth that you're fighting throughout Final Fantasy VII with all of his bloviating is just
We're
a manifestation
right?
of Genova
Sector 5,
utilizing
the
Sephiroth's
slums.
likeness,
Yeah.
right? So if we understand it
Street's
from that
over
perspective, if
that
you
way.
accept that
There's lots of
theory, I mean,
people.
not everybody accepts that
And
theory,
you can
but
go
if you
above.
accept that theory, which is the one I use and the one I base this
I
off
should
of,
be good once I
then
make it there.
anything
All
that Sephiroth is talking
Lead the
about
way.
is only manipulation. And the reason
Okay,
she's
let's
doing
go.
this is no big plan of the Promised Land or using the fucking planet as a taxi service. Like, it has nothing to do with any of that. It is wholly about causing enough panic and enough concern and keeping people divided enough that she is safe to continue to consume and continue to exist as she sees necessary, which may or may not include an amount of growth that might destroy the population, but we don't know that. We don't have that information. We don't know enough about Genova. So it's possible that if everybody just sort of ignored Genova, and like if Hojo's influence wasn't problematic with all of his like trying to recreate Sephiroth and Soldier and stuff like that, if without Hojo's intervention, and if you were to like remove all of like the Sephiroth clones and just had Genova, and even if you just had Genova mixed with Sephiroth, you would end up with probably just a singular predator that existed and was eating people once in a while. That would ultimately prove to not really be any real threat to the planet or like to society on a whole. But when you start mixing in all this additional power and all these additional issues, that ends up being
it's
something
still
more
a
divisive, right? Then you get the geostigma, but the geostigma is not an intentional thing. It's just a thing that happens because you have an alien genome mixed into the life stream.
Okay. So that's your headcanon, is it?
It's an interpretation of if like is Genova just parasitic or was there influence? And I'm like, no, she's just she's not even a parasite. Not really. She's just because a parasite would latch onto somebody and then just stay there slowly consuming them. That's not quite what Genova does. Genova kills you, eats you, and then turns into you to pretend to be you, to then consume the next person.
Okay.
The parasitic part is only really like the Genova cells that are
There we
spread
go.
by Hojo, but even that isn't really
Don't
her
worry about
being
it.
a
I'll protect
parasite.
you.
That is
I've got
her
this.
hiding inside of people to
Oh, yeah.
slowly consume
Stay
them
back, okay?
and push them to her own ends, which are usually to
Activating
just
combat mode.
In my head, I've
Resolve.
always had the idea
Oh, yeah.
that she was this
You're
thing that
amazing.
when it goes to a different planet,
You're so
she-
strong.
Oh god.
Strong, like a monster, right?
Sorry,
oh,
I just
wow,
started
it's what a
cringing.
self-hate
Zach?
straight away, huh?
What's wrong?
Nice.
Nothing.
A girl said
Now,
something nice to me.
let's move.
I guess I'm a piece of shit.
He's got to be broody enough for her to like
Hey,
him.
I looked good, right?
You look like an X, a literal X.
What?
You're shaped like an X.
Dunno.
Like your X? Yeah, eventually,
Come on,
probably.
flatter me.
Oh god. I just watched a nice guy
Let's
from
go.
Reddit video before this. My head is not in the right
Hello.
place. If he starts using slurs and his voice
Oh,
turns to
no.
Walter Fate reading this out, I'm done. Right, so
are you saying it could be that she's manipulating people to put her cells in people? I don't think that's what she's doing. I don't think putting her cells in people is really that beneficial to her. And it's also hard to say if the cells are acting individually or collectively at some times. So it's a little bit unclear. And then it says, well, you kind of said that isn't the case, but is it also possible? I mean, yeah, it's a possible theory. You could run that theory if you want. The Sephiroth you chase through the game is Genova, but the real Sephiroth is actually in the North Crater fused with Genova. Yeah, that does seem to be a little bit closer.
Shouldn't we?
I don't know if we can definitively say that is Sephiroth's body or if it's a
Hey, wait.
regenerated version of Sephiroth's body, and there's not really anything to say that Sephiroth's mind is still cohesive or not, and it may be a battle of
So,
wills between
here
his
we
and hers.
are.
That is certainly
Yep.
possible. Yeah, I don't.
Something wrong?
I'm not sure.
The
There's a
slums
bit of an issue with
look just
Sephiroth
like
in that
any
like
other
he's
town.
not. His whole shtick is that he's not
Of
born
course.
naturally. that his
Lots of people
his
live
birth
here.
is unnatural and
inside
therefore
that
does
gate,
not
there's a
belong and is
market.
not technically
There's
or is
so
being
many great
rejected
shops
by the
there.
life stream. So which is what causes him to like fuse so heftily with Genova. But like that's a whole like all speculative. All of that is speculative.
The market's this way.
This is really like I'm listening to you, but I'm also just generally impressed with the. It's only like a small map, and you can see that like you can't go past a certain area, but it
Looks good.
It's impressive for the time, and it does give you a hint of what's to come in 7.
They do a good job of making the plate look impressive and intimidating and problematic all at the same time.
It's kind of stuffy here.
You okay?
I know why.
It is always weird that when you fight Sephiroth, suddenly he's
There's
a
no
weird
sky
monster.
here.
Yeah.
We don't need this guy.
What?
You're under this plate all the time.
What?
Well, that would be the
Normally
she'd be
you
the
see the
last
sky, no?
person to say that.
Sorry, I'm not normal.
Oh my god, they're both like
How's
just have
that?
no confidence.
The sky frightens me, like it's sucking me in.
What, are you a fucking dwarf now?
We-
You're falling to the clouds.
I don't. Yeah, that's
Normal
one thing about
is
this that
overrated.
I don't know where this is coming from.
You think so?
Because she doesn't actually
know.
see the sky
One
until
day,
she
I'll
leaves
show
with
you a
Avalanche.
pretty sky.
Also, you
Which
can't
doesn't
see
actually
the
doesn't
sky.
make any
Trust me,
sense.
you're gonna
She's
love it.
seen the sky before,
Yeah.
and she's seen the sky before this too because fucking Sing takes her away in a helicopter up to the plate, which doesn't have the sky hidden. All right.
Also,
surprise,
you can
surprise,
see
Aerith
the
has-
sky. It's right there.
Oh my god, Aerith just has one big continuity problem in this game at the very least. Okay.
Alright, I'm putting it down to simply this. All the toxic fumes in this area are giving everyone brain damage. That's,
Yeah, you know what? I'll take it.
Yeah, I'm just...
But wait, no, hold on. Wait, that doesn't work for Aerith. Remember, Aerith lives in this super clean sunlight,
yeah, but she goes out, so it
flowery
just takes longer for her.
enclosed. Oh.
Ooh, you think maybe eventually Shinra would start pumping, almost like a soma-like toxin into this fumes to keep the people docile? Ooh.
I would not put that
Hey,
past Shinra
wait.
for even a second. They absolutely would do that if they thought of it. Lord Magicus says the reunion is the idea that all of the Genova cells were returned to the source of the body. Yeah, and because Sephiroth was born injected with Genova cells, he's like half Genova.
Ah,
Yeah, or the largest
looks like an interesting
concentration.
place.
Yeah.
Or at least the
Wanna
most
take a look?
stable. I would say at least the most
Whoa.
stable. I don't know about the
Sorry.
amount of Genova, but I would
careful, huh?
definitely agree that
Okay.
it's like
Sorry again.
more cohesive than
That
it is
kid
in
just
any of the
robbed
other.
me.
Man, that
I already know.
hurts.
I can already see this.
Huh?
Yep.
Wait.
What
the?
What's wrong?
Zach, first class
wallet's
soldier, robbed by children.
Oh
Where
Where
did you
those
put your
cells
wallet
are-
in that tight outfit? Really?
That little brat. He just stole my wallet.
Where those cells are is which is
Aerith,
why
wait
the
here,
clones
okay?
seek out to
I'm gonna
return
go catch that
their
kid
cells
and
to
get my
Genova,
wallet back.
to Sephiroth's actual body.
Bruno.
So I think
his
that
name.
actually is his
Bruno?
body in the Northern Crater
know his
drifted
name?
there from the live stream.
Yeah,
The Mako reactor
know him.
comes from that.
Just a
Yeah, I
little.
mean, I'd give you that it
He
could
doesn't
be Sephiroth's
do
actual
things like that.
actual body there.
But-
I don't know if I'm sold on
If
it,
he
but like I
really
don't think you're
stole
wrong.
from
You know what I mean?
I'm sure
Um,
he had good reason.
Because the reactor
Hey,
explodes,
look for
doesn't
him.
it? If I'm
Zach,
remembering
you wait
correctly.
here.
No, that reactor doesn't explode.
All right,
That
I'll
reactor
wait
does not
here.
explode.
Which one?
So-
But I'm pretty antsy.
The one that Sephiroth dies when
I know.
Cloud kills him.
Yeah, the one in
That obvious?
in Nibelheim. In the map.
Nibelheim.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Nibelheim reactor doesn't explode. Sephiroth just jumps into it with Genova's
Theft
head.
is theft, no matter the
No,
reason.
with Genova's
I have to
body.
give him a good scolding.
No, with the head. No, it's with
You'd
the
think
head.
that they'd
Genova's
scour
head-
that shit out. Shinra would send someone to scour the ship. I suppose how would they get down into the reactor?
They did.
Oh.
Ugh,
Yeah, they
that's
did,
it.
but he went into the
It's my
reactor,
wallet
so
that
they,
was
they
stolen.
like into the
I'm
Mako
going with
stream.
Bruno too.
So, I mean, I can see why Lord
I think he
Magicus
went that
thinks
way.
that it's actually Sephiroth's body, and I'm not sold on it being his actual body, but it is definitely like at least a recombobulation.
Item
How much of
world.
it is Sephiroth and how much it is Genova, I think, is like supposed to be a question you don't have an answer to. It's up to you to figure that out about what you think.
That's it.
How do you explain the weird house monster in town? Do people's houses turn into monsters sometimes? Okay, so like you're talking about the Hell House. So the Hell House, in my opinion, is basically just a mimic. It's just a big mimic. So it's just a monster that uses like the shit laying around to make itself look like a house.
Makes a lot of sense because why have just one person go into look for a chest when a whole family could go into a house?
Yeah, I think it's basically just a mimic.
All right, remember you have to be reading all the stuff. So.
Right. This is the news broadcast, right? Oh no, this is Lazard. Children in the slums, soldier members, I thank you for your daily hard work. On the ground beneath our aerial city of Midgar, and in the shadows of its plates, lie the slums. They also symbolize one of Shinra's distortions. There are reports of children forming gangs in the harsh environment they call home. To look away from this will surely cast a large shadow on Shinra's future growth. It is my hope that we members of Soldier can rise up to address this distortion. Oh, well, I guess we know why Lazard doesn't survive. He's criticizing the man.
True. But also the magical world of Hogwarts is inbound with those sort of lines. Also, I just recently watched Andor, and now I can't listen to anything news. that was great, by the way, but it's not a fun show. It is the most un-Star Wars show ever, and it's great.
Oh, really? Nice.
Oh, are you looking for someone? This exit leads to the path to go above the plates. It's possible he went that way.
Okay, cool.
Hey, mister, you look pretty
They
good.
should really explore child gangs more in these games. They do. In the remake, you actually go and hang out and help out some kids that are part of a gang in the slums of Aerith.
Trooper on patrol.
As well as the gang kid in the gang of kids in part 2, I guess we'll call it for now. There's this whole thing about the frog competition, the frog monster.
Alright, well, it's obvious he's hiding in here because there's like literally nowhere else he could go. For people who live in slums, they're not that differently dressed from people up on the...
Hey, you there! Did a kid come running this way?
The ambiguity between Sephiroth, what is Sephiroth and what is Genova, as well as how broken Sephiroth's mind is when he goes into the live stream, really does
Got your pocket picked, did you?
help keep Sephiroth a little bit
Happens all the time.
scary, but a little. It gives
you're
him
gonna
a
have a
degree
hard
of
time
sympathy.
finding the thief on your own.
Sympathy.
Ask folks
It
around
makes
here
him
nicely,
not
and
entirely
they might help you.
evil.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He's got a shitty deck of cards being dealt, but at the same time,
I'll ask around here, for starters.
If he has no agency, then you're not, like you said, it's not even really Sephiroth we're talking about throughout the game. And if he does have agency, then he's a piece of shit and needs to die for the things that he does. So
If there's an interesting parallel there, right, that you've brought up. There's a really interesting parallel there between Sephiroth being manipulated or his visage being utilized and manipulated by Genova and Clouds. If Sephiroth had a Tifa, then Sephiroth would probably be fine. But Sephiroth is alone and
that'd be
isolated.
really cool.
And
Imagine if he had a second,
nobody.
like basically a sidekick or a henchman who was trying to be his moral compass.
Well, you could write, I think this would be a really good alternate universe or alternate reality fanfiction if somebody writes
Go outside these gates?
a fanfiction
Nobody's
where
going through these.
you have Tifa acting as Tifa, but for Sephiroth. So Sephiroth has this ability to manipulate the clones, right? To a degree, like he can take over their bodies and become them. So, like you see happen to Kadaj, for example. In Advent Children, that kind of thing. He can do that, right? So he can manipulate them to a degree. So I wonder how much, and you could have some fun with this, is how much can Sephiroth see through Cloud's eyes? How much can Sephiroth, through this Genova buffer,
You're a broker?
experience the relationship between Cloud and Tifa.
But trust me, my information's
right?
good.
So that becomes like this really interesting idea that Sephiroth is trapped.
Hey,
so you know that
you,
when
mister.
Cloud's mind breaks and they fall into the life stream,
What gives? He's
Tifa
gone.
goes and fixes his memory
Hey,
and fixes
if you
his
know where he
mind and
might go,
fixes sort of
tell
his
me.
consciousness and kind of goes through this with
I just
goes through
gave
his
you
psyche
some
with him and
information.
does a bunch of repairing.
If you want
right?
to know more, give me another item.
Sephiroth
Give me a
is
break.
basically the equivalent of Cloud in the Northern
Thank
Crater.
you.
He is comatose.
Look,
he is
there.
trapped there.
Really?
But there is nobody talking to him.
Where? Hey,
Did
kid,
Sephiroth watch
that
Cloud and
wasn't
Tifa
the
bang?
information
No,
you just
because
sold me, was
no,
it?
because that was after.
Hey, you
that is
catch on
after
fast.
falling into the
Are
life
you
stream.
ready to buy some more?
Was he aware that they had fucked? Like, did he sense their fucking?
I feel like he probably would have sensed something because there would have been a massive change in Cloud,
Thank you.
and
Look,
he wouldn't have been able to manipulate
Really?
him anymore all of a sudden.
Uh,
Because
where?
you'll notice that in the game, it doesn't happen so much in the original,
Hey,
but in the new
kid,
one,
that
there's a
wasn't the
very
information you
strong
just
focus
sold
that
me,
Sephiroth
was
has
it?
on Tifa.
Hey, you catch on fast. Are you ready to buy
I
some
have
more?
99 potions, by the way, so I'm very interested to see how deep this rabbit hole goes. I'm on potion 3, and he keeps on duping. This kid keeps on duping Zack.
Zack.
Yeah, that's the.
Thank you.
Does it eventually loop or what?
Really? Where?
Really?
Said 4 times now.
Hey, kid, that wasn't the information you just sold me,
Okay,
was
so I respect.
Hey, you catch on fast. Are you ready to buy some more?
Yes.
Not on your
No,
life.
because it stopped. It's already looped.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Zach!
The only thing I
Hey,
would bring up in
Aerith.
potential opposition to
Did you
Sephiroth
find him
being
yet?
the mastermind in reality
Not
is
yet,
he is
but
basically a
give it
superhero
time.
who does things he
Please?
does for the good. That's my thoughts. I don't think Sephiroth is a superhero. He's a soldier. He fights and kills people. He's only presented as the good guy by the oppressive
He
force
didn't
in
go
the
this way.
face, right? I think that you could. The problem Sephiroth has is he lacks a personal identity, right? His identity is wrapped up in Shinra and wrapped up in the war, right?
Excuse me?
Of what he's been
Got a
told
minute?
to do
What
as
is
a
it?
soldier. He didn't do
I'm looking
these
for a
things
kid named
because
Bruno
he
who took
wanted
my
to.
wallet.
He did these
Maybe
things
you've
because
seen
it
him
was his
around?
job, right? So when you take that away from him, and he finds out more about his origins,
looks
he
like
loses
this.
his sense of identity.
Sure, I'll
right? And
help
that's
you.
a big theme
Bruno,
in Final
you said?
Fantasy VII is
Yeah,
identity.
no
It's
problem.
Cloud's identity, Tifa's
You're the
identity,
man.
Aerith's
If you see
identity,
him,
even
it'd be great if you
like
could catch him,
Barrett
too.
and Coral, for example, and like the secrets behind and Barrett as a parent
Where did
and
he go?
like his identity. So like the identity of
There he is.
Wu Tai,
Hey,
Vincent,
mister,
like it's
that's
very
him. Get
identity
him.
driven. Like even Sid, Kate
He
Sith
got away.
is a whole identity thing, right? Like it's very, very identity focused.
I did
So
try to
like
grab hold
Sephiroth
of him.
losing his identity, thus causing him to be the main antagonist,
Unfortunately,
whether he wants to
he
be
managed
or
to
not,
steal my
is
most
he
prized
is causing
materia.
problems because
well,
he has no
once he
sense of
used
self
it,
anymore.
there was
And
no
Genova doesn't have a
chance.
sense of self at all. It's basically negative
You too.
space at best.
You didn't even try to chase him.
Come on now. That's not true at all.
Come on, man.
Sephiroth
I
being a
wonder
hero
if
is
Aerith is still
propaganda from
looking.
Shinra.
All by herself.
Yeah, you gotta wonder like how many surrendering Wu Tai soldiers were just mowed down by Sephiroth.
Well, they were an invading force to begin with, and they didn't really need, like, there was no, like, intrinsic,
Hey there. I'm looking
like,
for someone.
if we don't invade
little boy
Wu-Tai, our society
Bruno.
will collapse. Like, that wasn't a thing.
I know, Bruno.
It was mostly just greed.
You must want to find him badly. I'll bring him here for you.
Actually, so that's an interesting
You
point. It says
will?
who knew Final Fantasy VII was
Yeah, stay right
woke,
here.
or Final Fantasy was woke with all these identity issues.
All right,
Final Fantasy
I'll be
VII,
waiting.
for I've listened to a couple of people doing analysis of Final Fantasy VII who are trans people who are like, no, this is like a whole identity crisis that like either really helped them or like really like they went through it with this game because it's so like. Who are you? What do you remember? What does that mean? Also, Cloud dresses in drag. Like, there's like a whole thing. Jenova is presented as a female. Why? Question mark.
How far did she have to go?
Mommy. I think like Sephiroth's relationship with Jenova was the first time I ever heard the term mommy issues.
Oh no. You talk too soon.
Well, I mean, and that's part of it, but it's mostly just it's an identity crisis.
Weren't you trying to help him get away?
No, I wasn't. That's so mean.
Lady, I'm a fascist. Don't try me.
Come on, man.
Is that trying to
see? I'll come back.
And it's really sad because you really want to like Zack, but then you're like just watching what he's doing. It's like he's not the good guy.
No. But give me more time. I'll find him.
My theory that they're all high on fumes is increasing every fucking minute.
I'm kind of here for that.
Oh
Aerith,
my god!
how goes?
What was that thing that like poor people were meant to do where they were huffing like feces, in a bag? Jenkum, they're all high on fucking Jenkum.
Well, to be fair, the slums as they're presented do not shy away from the fact that there is clearly like sex, drugs, and rock and roll going on. Sorry, the chat said, the only thing I think I could say as to why Jenova is presented as female is that she's seen as the mother figure, kind of due to having pseudo-children with her cells. That's the only thing I got. I mean, yeah, it's like mitochondrial Eve, I guess.
Yeah, she's a fucking amoeba to me. She's
yes, really.
Amoeba.
She's kind of likens to, like, the female sin, and yada, yada, yada. In some of the symbolism, but because you've got like there's some Christian symbolism in Final Fantasy VII. Yeah. Not that it's intended to be Christian, quote unquote, but it does use some of like those stories.
Stay here and keep an eye out.
Yeah, Japan uses it the same way we use Japanese religion as like a foreign concept of like woo.
As crazy as it is, it's nothing compared to how like EVA tackled like Jewish mysticism, like that is just they literally have a Kabbalah appear above Earth at one point.
Yeah, like, I mean, there's one likened to it in like Evangelion, right? It has a lot of Christian symbolism. Vampire Hunter D uses a lot of it as well. Lord Magicus said so. Lord Magicus thinks that Sephiroth watched the sex, or like knew the sex and stuff.
I think he was above it, that he wouldn't even care, except he probably was a little pissed and now he didn't have direct control over Cloud as much anymore.
Well, okay, let's hear the argument. So Sephiroth can see and manipulate people via Jenova cells. Cloud was experimented on along with Zack by Hojo, and has those cells injected into him. As long as he carries those cells, Sephiroth can see him, and that final moment after you beat Safer Sephiroth was him using those cells to try. Yes, I know what you're talking about. Safer Sephiroth is like the fucking winged thing. After that, when you're just confronting, you're talking about when Cloud and Sephiroth are fighting in the black screen, and you just omni slash him, and that's the end of the game.
Tell me why you did it.
Was to try and take over Cloud, so he still had those cells during the sex scene. I think so. Here's the thing. I agree with you. He still has the cells. In fact, he still has the cells after, right? So when you watch like Advent Children, the reason why Sephiroth is just like, I'll never be a memory, and why you see Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts, and when you see Sephiroth in Kingdom Hearts, Sephiroth is only ever where Cloud was. So like when Sephiroth is in Kingdom Hearts, he's in Kingdom Hearts 1, he's at the Coliseum. Why? Because Cloud is at the Coliseum. Right, in Kingdom Hearts 2, he's in Hollow Bastion. Why is he in Hollow Bastion? Because Cloud is in Hollow Bastion.
Do you need money?
Right? Sephiroth is only ever where Cloud is, and Sephiroth is only where Cloud is because he has those Jenova cells in him, regardless of what's going on. It's one of the reasons why Cloud also gets Geostigma.
That's why I took.
But also why Sephiroth is surprised to find that Cloud has emotions and feelings.
He might give me a break.
Yeah, there's I would say that it's not impossible, but I do not think it's likely that Sephiroth is always able to look through Cloud's body and mind. Good. He's able to throughout the game up until the live stream dive with Tifa.
So Yes.
It doesn't mean he's not there.
Thank
he's
you.
still there,
I'm
but
sorry.
he's like a shadow of what
you need
he
medicine,
is or
right?
could be and does not always have
Yeah.
access
It's
because
for my
Cloud becomes Cloud again. His mind is no longer shattered. His quote unquote soul, his emotions are no longer
sure?
like have a bunch of
Yeah.
cracks in them that it's
Buy it
easy
with
for
my
him
money,
to slip through
okay?
and around. So it's more of
Thanks,
like
so-
it's less of he's
Wait.
allowed to go wherever he wants and more of
It's
like
no
he's just
good.
been shoved into
There's
a
not
fucking
enough
closet
here.
in a box
Seriously?
somewhere that he can't really do anything.
Okay,
or he
I'll
loses
get
that
your money back
power and
from the
capability.
monster.
And at that time,
But it's
he doesn't really
dangerous.
care. Right? He doesn't need to.
Don't
As
you
far as he
worry.
knows, Cloud
Monsters
is
around
comatose.
here are cake.
And as far as he knows, he's in the middle of
Okay,
getting a bunch of
but I'm
energy and
going
actually
to.
becoming free
No, it'll be
from
fine.
the Juno
Just
cannon
let me
shot.
handle it.
Right? So
Stay here.
and
wait with
the
Bruno.
and the weapons, right? There's a
The
whole lot going
monsters
on for him right then, and
Should
he's getting his
still be
body
on the
back.
path
So
that goes to the park, I think.
I like,
Here's your
but it is
wallet
very fun
and
that
money.
yes, yeah, that he
There was
watched
only a
from the
little
mental
money in there to
closet.
begin I didn't spend any.
Because like, if you were to
Okay,
shift that
okay,
and make
I
that
got
the
it.
case, and that is like whatever is left of the real Sephiroth, how sad is that? Like, how sad is that for Sephiroth? Sephiroth, like I said, is in the same position that Cloud is in. Experimented
Park
on,
is
pumped full of
this way.
Mako, abused
Hey,
by
you!
Hojo,
Get back
forced
inside the gate now!
to do these
Hmm?
things and
Monsters
participate in
coming out of the
fights
park
and
in
things that he
droves!
didn't want to and he didn't agree with.
park.
Um,
right,
but he
that's
is
gotta be
alone.
them.
He is
not
ultimately
all
alone. His
right.
mind
Everyone's
breaks,
fled.
his body
It's dangerous.
shatters,
You
he
have to
goes
turn
into the
back
live stream,
now.
and nobody is even
Sorry,
looking
but
for him.
they all need
Nobody
some money.
cares.
So I have to go over and collect.
Cloud has
What the hell are you
Tifa
talking about,
because
guy?
Cloud has Tifa.
Relax,
Well, and
relax.
Zack,
Don't
right?
worry
Zack
about me.
gets him out.
You
Zack
know,
takes him
you should
to
get behind that gate
Midgar.
yourself.
Then Cloud meets. Then Cloud gets Tifa, and Tifa carries him the rest of the way. And through Tifa gets Barrett and Aaron and Yuki and Vincent
go.
and Sid, and he
This is
gets
them.
friends. He gets a team
Bruno's
that
wallet.
care about
Here I
him.
come.
Right? They are worried. They are like,
Activating
what the
combat
fuck is
mode.
going on? And Sephiroth has to watch all of this happen. Where this fucking schlub, who fucking could not graduate soldier, who is not lauded as a hero and is actually presented to the world as a terrorist, who is hated by people and hated by Shinra and chased to the ends of the earth, has this group of people who fucking
Oh,
care
here we
about
are.
him
One
and
wallet.
will try, and some of them willing
Is
to
the money
put their
still
lives on the line to save
inside?
him, meaning Zack and Tifa
Whoa!
explicitly.
That's
Right?
way more than I
Both
have.
of them very much put their lives on the line to save Cloud multiple times. And so, but Sephiroth
You
has
really got it
nothing.
back.
So how
Amazing.
fucking sad is it for him to
Ugh,
fucking
it's so
have
sticky.
to witness that and see
Stop
that?
complaining.
That's why
least you
Sephiroth
got it
cares
back.
so much about Tifa.
Zack, were you okay?
No problem at all. Piece of cake.
How much do you want to bet poor
Thanks
people
a
eat
lot,
these worms for
mister.
lunch? Oh yeah, you
Call
can.
me
The
Zack.
question is can you eat
If
monsters?
you need more help,
And I
just
mean,
ask.
if you watch Dungeon
You don't
Meshi,
need to
yes,
steal
absolutely you can
anymore.
eat
Not
monsters.
only that, you can see it in
Thanks,
any of the
but
more modern, like Final Fantasy
you've
15
got
had
bigger money
whole
problems
mini
than
games
me.
with all the different monsters, and they all had different names. You can go hunting
Well,
for them, and you
maybe
can
so.
get the recipes.
But hey, just
Yeah,
you
yeah,
wait.
yeah.
There must be farms
and I,
somewhere that have
we're
like
gonna make a fortune.
A lot of the
Huh?
traditional Final
We're
Fantasy
launching
monsters all
Operation
as like
Midgar full of flowers,
domesticated
wallet
animals
full of money.
ready to be put into the slaughter pit.
Yes.
I agree with
Midgar,
Magicus as
full
well.
of
It's actually
flowers.
kind of sad,
And
and I'm
wallet
kind of hoping they
full
explore
of
that
money.
angle in at the end of the remake.
Eric,
I don't
for
know
real?
if they will,
Yeah,
because that would
for
take a
real.
lot of
That's why, if
um,
you're in trouble,
humanizing
we can help you.
Sephiroth, and I don't
All right.
think the
come talk
majority
to
of
you.
Final Fantasy VII
Okay,
fans
mister.
are gonna
Eric,
want that.
Thanks.
I think the story that is already there and presented
Hey,
is
Zack,
already
Did
a
you
lot for
mean it?
people to chew on.
selling
So I
flowers?
think it's
Of
it's there.
course.
I think it's a
There's no
theory,
turning
and I
back
think it's
after
something
this.
that you can interpret.
I know.
But I don't think
Let's
it's
make a
something that they're going
wagon.
to like
wagon?
spend a whole lot of time actually
Yes,
like
a flower wagon.
building and
With a
extrapolating
wagon
and
to
actually
carry lots of
showing you. I
flowers,
think it's stuff
you
that
could
you're
sell
going to
them
have
all
to
over
infer off of multiple playthroughs. Like so, for example,
Not feeling
in the
it?
new one,
No,
you'll find that
it's
Sephiroth
great.
is very, very
Let's do it.
interested in Tifa, and you'll notice that there's a couple of points of dialogue that are in the original one that part 3 isn't at yet. And I'm expecting
There's
that we're gonna
materia
see some of
missing at
those like
those.
really like heart-wrenching breaking moments we're going to get a
Oh,
couple
yeah.
of tweaks
You
to
just need to
some
collect
of
material you
Sephiroth's
find on the street.
lines
All
and
right. To
delivery,
make things
and you're
easier
going to
for you.
find out that
Yeah, so
Sephiroth
use
has
those
this
fast
really distorted perception of Tifa, where he has like this affection and hatred for her because he wants what Cloud has, right? So he respects her as a fighter. He cares about her in that he wishes that she would do something for him, but he's so distorted by Jenova that there's not the real Sephiroth isn't there. He's too deep reversed. And like I would not be surprised if you see it when they do the when Sephiroth presents his.
All right.
He confronts Tifa about
Nice
quote
work.
unquote lying about what happened at Nibelheim, to say that like Cloud wasn't there.
I am
right?
a carpenter.
Oh, Aerith.
I want to know this version
Here
of
with your
Sephiroth's
boyfriend
opinion of
today?
Red. You mean Anaki?
I
Uh,
just met him.
Hey,
Probably
weren't
Red
you
13,
chasing
right?
a kid
Not
around
much
here
away.
earlier?
Yeah, I
heard about you from
I don't.
the
Yeah, I
local
don't imagine he has
townsfolk.
much of an opinion
I
about
thought
it.
Now, what
you were
about
some
him and
shady
Vincent?
Never
outsider,
really interact.
but it looks like you're a
Vincent and
decent
him must
guy.
have some strong
Sorry I
opinions of each
misjudged
other.
you. Here, take this.
So,
olive.
so that's interesting. Vincent was a Turk before
I
Sephiroth
have
was
to say,
born,
though,
and Vincent was
Aerith,
gone
You
before
found
Sephiroth
yourself
was
a pretty nice fella.
born, or like just
No,
after
no,
Sephiroth was born.
not
So
a
they wouldn't have ever really
I just met
interacted as
him today.
individuals. But there is a
Oh,
lot of
wait.
fan theory that
Could
Sephiroth
we
is
take a look?
like the sperm cells
You
used
came
to
out to go
create.
shopping?
Yeah, I remember you
Sephiroth
talked. I wasn't so
Vincent.
drunk last time that I don't
Forget it.
remember some of what we talked about.
No, I'm joking.
Yeah, that
Go
that
take a look.
Sephiroth Hojo isn't actually
you. Just a
Sephiroth's
look.
biological
quick.
father, but Vincent is actually Sephiroth's biological father.
Oh, is this where she gets her?
Which
bow?
might make which would be
Do you
interesting
like this store?
considering
Yeah.
like depending on the
it's fun
timeline.
just looking.
Hojo may have already been experimenting
Hey,
on
Aerith.
Vincent, so this
Uh-huh.
so I'm not saying
pay
that
you back for
Lucrezia and
that.
Vincent
Hello?
banged to make
I'll buy you something.
Sephiroth, but if
Your offer
Hojo
was one
the
date,
deal with
no?
with
But
Vincent
then
is
he said,
that yeah
"Don't be silly,"
he's a reference to
remember?
old movie monsters,
Well,
specifically
I-
Frankenstein,
Okay,
and this
I'm
chaos
memento
demon, but this
for
this
today.
monster that Hojo has been injecting him
mean
with his
it?
different monster cells,
Of
which would
course.
lean towards if you take out this game, like the game we're playing right now, ignoring
Okay.
everything that happens in this game
I
because
want this.
fuck this shit.
Yeah.
All right.
the
it's yours. Hold on.
the Sephiroth realizing he is a monster.
How's that?
If he is in
Does
fact
it look right?
Vincent's DNA after Hojo had
I
been
think so.
experimenting on him
Yeah.
and injecting him
It
with
looks
monster
great.
DNA, then you have that slide into monster is suddenly a lot
Thank
easier
you, Zach.
for
I'll treasure this.
it makes Sephiroth's
Hey, do you
breakdown,
still
like his
have
mental
time?
breakdown,
I guess
more
so.
viable
Why?
in my opinion.
Wanna
More
go to the
believable.
park?
Because it kind of does seem
Hey,
like a
that sounds like a
instant flip
date.
of a switch.
Yeah.
And it seems like a little bit off for somebody who seems so chill. But at the same time,
Come on, let's go.
he seems chill on the outside, but he's been discontented for quite a while. He was sleeping in a coffin.
So,
this is true.
Ever meet any
Yeah,
soldier
well, he's
members?
very
Covered in
Dracula.
spiders, thousands of
Maybe.
spiders.
Do you think he's been happy?
They're everywhere.
Yeah,
What do you mean?
his three forms
Heroes to
are, if I
children,
remember correctly, Frankenstein,
protectors of the peace.
werewolf,
But
Dracula, and then he
they're
has
not
like the
normal.
chaos form, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
They get some kind of special surgery.
So he's like, I am a demon. Blah, blah.
So
It's
they
the
say.
same as
But
what
yeah, he's very
Angela was saying
normal is
earlier. Like,
best.
I'm a monster, don't look at me.
I
At least he
think
looked a
so.
little more
least.
monstrous.
Those soldier people
Who?
are
You
kind
mean
of-
Vincent? Yeah,
Yeah.
Vincent actually
Weird.
physically turns into a monster, and you can't
They're
control him. Like when you're
weird,
playing the
huh?
game, part of the storytelling in Final Fantasy VII is in its gameplay.
And
So like
they're
when you limit
scary.
break with Vincent, he can only
They
attack.
fight.
And if I'm not
And they
mistaken,
love
sometimes
it.
he attacks you.
Yeah.
Like he attacks allies.
He basically goes
So-
into berserk.
Yeah, he goes into this berserk mode.
Actually,
And so, like, if
I'm
you
with Soldier.
translate that out of game and what is actually happening during
I'm sorry.
fights, he is literally attacking his friends during these fights when he limit breaks. So his claim that he's a monster and it can't be controlled, and his concern and keeping himself restricted and like
So
off to the
pretty.
side and distanced is very, very valid. Although it might seem a little bit melodramatic, given that
You like them?
they're little
Then take
free
a closer
fucking
look.
sprites.
Eyes infused with Mako energy. A soldier
Ooh.
trademark.
Oh, you.
Color of the sky, right?
A certain urge
Their
to
eyes
want
are the
you to be
same
blonde,
color.
But
right?
not scary at all.
Ugh.
I'll admit, things haven't been normal at
What's
all.
my opinion of
lately.
Dirge Cerberus?
Kick-ass soundtrack.
What about you, Eric?
Yeah, I
How's
mean,
your
it's
life
very
going?
like Devil May Cry-ish with a
I
better
was
camera.
thinking it would be a normal thing,
Much better camera.
but then suddenly,
As for like the
some
plot,
guy fell out of
it's
the sky.
That's not all that bad.
fine. It has like the same kind of problems that I have with this game, right? Where it like the continuity is, and like why are we
Return to
bothering?
the Shinra building now. Genesis has attacked us.
On my
We're
way.
really easy
Not
to
hey,
be
are you
attacked.
okay?
I'm sorry,
Not
but
where
duty
have you
calls.
been? Not what happened to you? I found a gaping
Well,
hole in the
I guess I
floor.
should get going then.
Just come back.
Will I see you again?
Of course.
Do you like blondes?
I hope that
Well, okay, so
your
here's
friend's
the
okay,
thing,
Zach.
right?
Huh?
Why doesn't Zach know who she
You
is?
talk in your sleep.
Yeah. It'll be fine. I know that.
Why
now.
doesn't Zach know who Aerith is?
Yeah, shouldn't he gotten like a sort of a giant wanted sign
to the
sent up
Shinra
by the
building.
Turks to be like, you see this one? You see her? Yeah, anything to get her back.
I have to go through.
Well,
the
at this
market,
point, she's
they
already
said.
there. She's already being protected by Shinra, right? Specifically by the Turks, right? She's living under Shinra's protection. So, but she is like a major, major consideration explicitly by like, and very interested in by Hojo. Although Hojo doesn't have access to her right now, right? So it's surprising to me that Zach wouldn't have some idea of who she is. So, like, some idea. But then again, Zach is an idiot and doesn't read, so maybe it's not as surprising as I.
Okay, more important than anything else, the greatest hero in the fucking game has just sent a message. Give it up for our boy Console!
Let's go!
Madam?
Hollander's t-shirt. Hollander's t-shirt. Yeah, okay, we care about this. It seems Hollander's favorite t-shirt is the one with the logo of Benora's famous canned apples. Can a guy love apples that much? Or do you suppose he has other ties to Benora? Apparently, with all the confidential information they handle, guys in the science department aren't allowed to leave the company even if they screw up or lose out in the rat race, and that puts them under a lot of stress. Maybe Hollander's t-shirt helps him relieve some of that, huh? So he's a mole that's been working with Angeal, who's from the same place. Okay, cool, thanks.
Console, this is a office channel. Could you maybe keep things professional here, you know? Some of us are trying to do our jobs.
Yeah, Case's parts in Dirge Cerberus are pretty great. I mean, it was kind of nice seeing the other characters.
It was cool seeing the Edge City, like how it's everyone's kind of like circles it now, but it's doomed as well because
like
you know
we've got more
eventually everyone
monsters.
abandons that whole area. Maybe humanity's dead by the time Red's with his kids. It's never you never see any humans. Just him. So maybe they're all extinct at that point, which is kind of bittersweet.
Well, that's Midgar that you see.
Yeah,
over
but
the
of what's
thing, not-
Edge, but it's the Edge of Midgar. And there's no one
Well,
around there
that's
either.
the location. But so yeah, you could say so. You do see Red interacting in Advent Children, but you do not see his children interacting. So it's possible that the opening at the very beginning is like way far far. Well, we don't even know where he's getting children from. He's supposed to be the last.
He's the last one. Maybe Hojo's science. I mean, he was going to be fused with Eris in that.
I
too,
do.
So.
I do speculate that I do think
Activating
his
combat
father isn't dead and could be saved. Seto, right? Seto, I think is his guy's name. I think could be saved because it explicitly says that he's petrified.
Yeah, he starts crying when he hears his son's voice.
Yeah, so he's still alive and could theoretically be saved. So I suspect that Seto survives. And who knows? Maybe Nanaki's people change genders when there's only 2 of them left.
Or maybe
I don't know.
Maybe they were wrong and there's more than 2. You know?
That is possible, yeah. Maybe they can produce offspring without through mitosis.
Or maybe they're half his people and half a similar creature. Or maybe he can fuck with humanoids and they have a human mother, which enter your Omega-verse theories here, you know?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, like whatever. I actually wouldn't be against finding out that humanity is just inherently self-destructive and will eventually just wipe itself out. Like, life will go on. I think that's fine, because eventually that'll happen to Earth one day that we just won't be here. Millions of years.
I mean, it's also
materia from here.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's possible. Even like if you go far enough ahead, there might still be sentient humanoid
we might evolve into whatever's coming after.
I'll be on that. But like, I don't know. I don't think that's the case in Advent Children, but it's not.
I promise I'll
possible.
Never
Like it's reasonable. You could take that line of reasoning.
Mister, don't use that materia to do bad things.
You need a materia in this world to steal.
Of course not.
Well, never mind that. There was one more thing I wanted
You're
to say.
You're a Shinra soldier, Zach.
You need to work a lot harder to be worthy of Aerith.
But where is this coming from?
Between you and me, I'm pretty sure Aerith is really sweet on you, mister. Well, I'm rooting for if you need help.
Does Bruno make an appearance in Final Fantasy Remake? Because that would be very funny.
Well,
hold on. I'm looking that up.
He does give me a vibe that would reappear. Ooh, come on.
The building.
Would you show the roads being used?
You traitor!
They have really cool diesel work vehicles. Like what? Heightened emotions will affect the game. Let's call this the DMV.
Oh no, he does not appear. He's still in the Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion version, which I think is the one you're playing, right?
Good to see ya.
But
Activating combat mode.
there is no mention of Bruno in the Final Fantasy VII Remake. That's too bad. I was really hoping there would be like a 16-year-old or something.
Yeah.
Let me give you a hand with the
like just named Bruno.
No, it's fine. These flowers.
Don't touch them.
They only want to be tended to by me.
No.
Seriously?
Whoa, naughty.
Aerith, I would be concerned about the consent of flowers. The flowers think you're gross.
Oh my god!
Probably not Mako.
It's true. She's that girl. The one who always put her arm up in the air. That's true. The grass was saying you trees would suck. She names the trees with the flowers with the grass.
And now we've got mechs. Quite the welcoming party.
Could the steel materia actually be just something that lets you see stuff people have that like you destroyed if you were to put them in combat, so you just use it to find those items?
Yeah.
That's one way to do it. The other way to do it is that like the way the material works is it lets you like jump forward and swipe your hand like it makes your hand like immaterial and like lets you grab whatever it is and use it to get back. But it's like kind of meta game.
Brace yourself.
I mean, where does he go when this happens? Does he actually reappear in a field?
I like to think that's just what he sees when he starts doing the move, and everybody else is like, what?
Result.
Just kind of zones out a little bit.
I'm in a hurry.
All right.
Oh my god.
So Shinra, the world government
there's just
can't
no end to
defend
them.
its fucking capital.
Fine.
No, so
I'll take on
these
all of
are
you.
presumably these
Activating
are
combat
fucking G something, right?
Yeah, they're insane. Insane.
Yeah, so they're Genesis. So, like, where is Genesis getting all these fucking clones from?
How long does a clone take to mature and train? I mean,
Yeah, like
Star Wars it took about 8 years.
Like, this is pretty crazy. Or has, like, Genesis been planning on going AWOL for, like, a long time, and we're just getting caught up at the end stages?
Oh god, I could just imagine, like, the accountants in the building being like, Genesis, I've noticed a huge amount of finances just vanishing. Going to, like, what you call, soldier business. Oh, he also could summon up fucking alien demons.
He just every so often he drives a fucking like motorcycle into a Taco Bell so he can claim it on and then use the money for clones.
Cut above the usual riffraff, are we? Ha! No problem.
Yeah, whatever, Zach.
Activating combat mode.
G Warrior. Oh damn.
He's got magic.
Well, joke on you. I've got a sword that casts silence. Too bad I've
Well, it's not even like he's gotta make the clones, then he's gotta equip the clones, then he's gotta train the clones to some degree.
They do. See what she does.
Good luck.
Thanks.
He's on the flowers. You prick.
You stabbed it.
Doesn't get rid of the
They're the only
silence.
flowers in the slums, except for all the flowers that I have at my house.
Oh, that's the G word stuff.
Genesis is like sin. Every time I scratch my dandruff, it turns into a clone. May as well use them for something. That's just sin from Final Fantasy X. He just like shakes his dandruff and monsters fall off. That's where the monsters come from in Final Fantasy X.
Yeah, they're like polyps.
Yeah.
God, that was a one that's like the game itself. The job shit. The world that they built was really interesting. The whole religion being used to placate
Is that
people.
it?
But there's
That's
no.
it, right?
It had a very Tales of style storyline. Yeah. Like the Tales games usually have that kind of follow that kind of line. I don't mind all of the characters. I just don't think they had I just don't think the characterization was done very well. But I think most of that just happened because Titus fucking sucked. He sucked for like the wrong reasons though. Like he was a fine character. The game just needed to stop pretending he was the main character.
What do you think?
If you notice in X2, he's never addressed by name. They allude to him, but they never address him by name.
Yeah. This is my story. No, it's not. It's Yuna's story. You can be the like protagonist. You can be
not even her story. It's that kid in the hoodie.
No matter what happens, I have to protect my honor.
It's Orin's story more now. There's a badass. Oh my god, the symbolism with the Shinra building right in the middle.
Join my battle. Our enemy is all that creates suffering.
Technically, you're not wrong. It is Shinra.
All right.
Our enemy is
I'll
all
help
that
you.
creates suffering. Wow, that's a lot of things.
But I want 2 wings instead of 1. You're mad. Oh my god.
Ah!
No,
wait.
yes!
Now, are you gonna say a girl didn't write this?
I like the idea that like a woman wrote the scenarios, but a man wrote the dialogue.
Oh, maybe they just have a really interesting kink they met on DeviantArt in 2009.
Sorry.
You're late.
My Discord kitty.
Sephiroth, you look thin.
Immediately just insult them.
I'm certain Hollander has ordered Genesis to eliminate Hojo.
I mean, eliminating Hojo is probably the good call here.
Hollander.
We shouldn't stop that from happening.
His rightful position.
Yeah, the amount of sexual harassment claims from that dude alone would be probably problematic.
The amount of tax dollars spent on paying off.
Same old Sephiroth. Fine. Then you take the lower levels. I'll go outside.
When are we gonna get a Final Fantasy game that follows a
You know
Moogle?
what? I leave Hojo to you.
You got it.
Oh, a Moogle. Yeah, that would be
Yeah.
good. And it should be something like...
What is
It
Angeal
should
up to
be
exactly?
Grimjar,
Right
but
now, I
take
don't
itself
have a clue.
100%
But
seriously.
we're fighting
Like, the
together.
world is... It's almost like a never-ending story. The world is dying and no one knows why. And it is a Moogle who has to fix it. He doesn't know how.
The Moogle's gotta run around and collect the heroes to get them to get like the warriors of light to go and get them to fucking.
But they've each one of them has fallen prey to their own melancholy.
Or like each of them has like all of them are suffering from like one major
That's good
character
enough
flaw.
for now.
So like
right.
this person
The science department
is
is
like too
this
selfish, and this person's too prideful, and this person's right.
One's
lustful.
literally a racist towards Moogles.
I also like the idea that the world of like Midgar or Gaia, whatever world you choose, does look grimdark to a Moogle. Like Moogles come from like a Bandle City sorts of thing. They come from a like the Feywild.
Yeah.
So everything's all bright colors and high energy and magic. So they come here and they're just like, oh my god, everything looks like Skyrim.
Now I want.
Everything's great, depressing.
Oh god,
This place fucking sucks. The Moogle actually hates. The Moogle's the racist. The Moogle hates everybody, but has to get them to work.
It hates humans, yeah. Like they're the only way to save the world is by getting the humans to help rescue it. But the Moogle is like, the humans are the reason all this is happening. They don't care.
Yeah, and then he like has to learn to appreciate like human ingenuity and like the world that the humans live in are like just so different than what the Moogles are used to that he's got to be like, ah, shit, yeah, no, I'd be an asshole if I had to live here too.
Yeah, he also realizes that humans just aren't this homogenous block. That like a lot of humans can see the problems.
Activating combat mode.
Ooh, the big bad has the ability to control people's minds, but the Moogles are immune to it due to how simple their minds are.
Ooh, that's good.
Ooh, that is good. So it's like the Moogles are just like a Moogle can't lie, for example. Like they just can't do it. Things like that, where like or a Moogle can only really have one emotion at a time or something. Like a pixie.
The Moogles are whipped up as being the big bad by the increasingly terrified and distraught population that it's their fault. And you get to see like when the Al-Bhed were attacked, you get to see the Moogle town just burning from like helicopters and robots and gunfire. Moogle families just getting mowed down in the streets.
You know what that is? That's the beginning of fucking Mario Galaxy. Bowser with cannons just blowing the shit out of the Toads.
Well, in all fairness, the Toads deserve it.
Fair.
Oh, I wonder what goes in here. I wonder what goes into something like this.
Ooh, wow, that's.
That motherfucker got no head. But the text was like just windings and like exclamation point, question mark.
Just swearing, obviously.
Yeah, the exclamation point,
number sign.
Plate. That motherfucking pizza. I always loved Yahtzee's approach to original Barrett, which was, it's what a 40-year-old Japanese businessman thinks a black person is.
I like that it's like a 40-year-old businessman, Japanese businessman idea of Mr. T.
Yeah.
It's just,
Mr. T, but not the one of the wholesome Mr. T moments. But like one of his grindhouse, like corrupt cop movies, like Shark.
That's like Clubber Lang, man.
What?
It's like Clubber Lang.
Yeah.
Rocky.
Hey woman, why get with a real man? She said that to Tifa.
Yeah, but like
Why get with a real man?
To be fair, Barrett is actually incredibly wholesome. He just cares about his daughter and the environment.
Wait, this is the same sample that Eris and Red were gonna get it on. They got they got music. They were gonna have some
Is that
sexy
what
music.
that is? Are you sure? Because if you look on the side there, there's some tubes. You know what
in
that's for?
in my mind, those are sound. He's gonna play some like Barry White to get it on.
Yeah. I like the idea that it's like pheromones come out of it, along with like smooth jazz.
That idea too. And now I know what I'm gonna be doing after this. It requires opening up an incognito tab and getting to work.
Just kill Hojo. Don't save this man. He's the worst.
I hit square. I hit square, and square lies to me because instead of that bringing up my sword, it brings up my map. It knows. It knows.
I tried to kill. That's a very Zack thing. I tried to kill him, but I opened my map.
He opens it. He takes his sword out, and it just falls to the ground. Sorry. If you killed him,
I love it. I love it when there's like things going on and he just stands there, like doing nothing, like just staring back and forth at whatever the fuck he's looking at. Like.
All right, so you kill Hojo, suddenly everything goes black, and then it goes, "You've created a time paradox."
Zack!
Good. You're safe.
Can you please be quiet?
Shut up!
The building is under attack by Genesis.
He doesn't care, man. Professor. He's Hojo. Hojo's an ice-cold bastard.
You are my protection?
Anyway, can you come with me, please?
I think his hair should be way more raggedy.
I don't know. I like that it's not. Because like by the time Final Fantasy VII rolls around, he's like older and like a little bit more hunched over, right?
But like Genesis?
When Vincent was still alive and Lucrezia was still alive, he would have been like 20 years younger than this.
Men could deem
plus, by the time Sephiroth was born. So we're talking like, how old is Sephiroth? Like 25, 30? Somewhere between there. So like 30 years ago from like nearly now, right, would have been Hojo.
Know of it. Soldier's duty is not to think. Just follow your orders.
Because people are always like, why would Lucrezia ever pick Hojo over Vincent? And it's like, maybe because Vincent's fucking insufferable and also doing war crimes.
Also, I remember that the animated scene where they show that and they talk about it. Doesn't she kind of like give off a hint that she's kind of wanting to do this for like the scientific reasoning? She was basically like. Kind of
there's an implication that she wants to participate for the science, but there's also like an indication that she's also being like manipulated because Hojo's manipulating everybody. So like she's being like, as well as like Hojo's supposed to be older than she is. So Lucrezia's, if Hojo is like 30, give or take years younger than he is here, then Hojo is probably somewhere around like 25 to 30-ish. And she's only like 18, right? So she's like a first-year college student who has like this grad program that she's gotten into in the Shinra building. So she's very much like able to be taken advantage of as like the power dynamic, right? And as well as like Hojo is lauded as an incredible scientist.
You're joking.
Like he is incredibly good at his job. So like it's
I'm gonna
like
pass out if I fight it. Wait. What? This materia. It's not mine. Well, no time to think.
Pheromones here activate verifying experimental.
No time to think like you think
Proto
ever.
Spellblade. Kira. Turbo. Pheromones here equipped. Sample equipped.
Activating combat mode.
Saras, do you think it's rude of me that to think that Hojo is a good villain, even if his motives are very simplistic? No, I think sometimes having like a really straightforward villain, a guy who's just a fucking bad guy, is totally fine. I like Hojo.
Yeah.
I think Hojo's a
part of a
great
long
bad.
history of Final Fantasy villains that aren't the main bad, but they come out of the main bad. Obviously, Final Fantasy VI is the best example of that. With that fucking what's the name of the jester dude? Just like
Emperor?
Yeah.
It's so hot.
Yeah, I mean, like, you've got Final Fantasy VII has like a lot of like gray area as well. Hojo's motives are like almost science for science sake, but he is trying to improve things. He's not just doing this he's not trying to destroy the world. He's trying to recreate Sephiroth, right? And why did they make Sephiroth in the first place? To create a soldier to protect people and fight their enemies.
The machine.
Like, that's not necessarily the worst motive. It's just that what he does makes him an asshole.
Did you see what he said there? That answers one of our questions. He was here the entire time, flailing your sword wildly at the machine. So as other people see it, you are just like going into your mind and imagining what shit is.
Yeah.
I was able to gather some good
It's
samples.
basically just that's the old meme of lightning bolt, lightning bolt, lightning bolt.
Hojo's one of those good villains that's a good villain not because they don't over-explain him. They don't make, like, he's not sympathetic. His reasoning isn't all bad, but it's not all good either. He's ambiguous.
In 10 years.
Yeah, he's.
I was just promoted to first.
Womp womp. Well, I shouldn't have touched it.
Yeah. Kefka's a little bit more complicated than that, but he does turn into just a fucking goofy-ass clown god. But Kefka is also, like, the only villain to succeed. His goal was to blow up the moon, and he blew up the moon.
You seem purposeless.
Well, no. I have
Hold
a
on,
purpose.
isn't the purpose of
I
sin
thought you
to
said I
eventually
would have some visitors.
stopped?
Are you prepared?
And it doesn't think
to
that humanity
sacrifice
has
your
it in it
own
anymore?
life to protect this great
Well, sin
intellect
isn't the
of
bad
mine?
guy. Sin is
Well,
just a thing that exists because. It's more of like an element
Of course you can
like, it's
count
more
on
like
me.
like a
Come and get
volcano,
it is
right?
what
It just
I say.
exists. It's the tick.
Oh, sorry,
the
yeah,
tick
no,
that's on
you
Power of the
get
next
him,
generation
you
of
get him,
soldier first.
Yeah, the tick. Not the cool blue
That is
one.
most
The gross
encouraging.
giant tick.
Yeah, which is
Don't
also the
lose
symbol
against some
of the
failed
faith as well. If
project
you notice it,
by
has
a
like on the
second
back.
Yeah, because their
Like
god
Black
is just
Widow.
a tick.
Yeah.
Oh.
Their god's just a fucking tick.
Oh,
Well,
damn.
Look who's here.
Ooh.
Someone's OC is ready
Hollander
to go.
sent you, correct? You think that if you obey Hollander, he'll stop your body from degrading. Is that it? Pitiful. Just pitiful, I say.
I say.
Genesis.
Hey, I guess we have some motivation that's consistent with the degeneration of Genova cells. That's geostigma.
Ah, what do we have here?
I don't get the wings.
Are cruel.
Like, I get them
There
on
are no
Sephiroth in the
dreams.
original,
No honor
but
remains.
that's only like the Seraphim
The arrow
Sephiroth.
has left.
Maybe it's a
The bow
trace
of the
element
goddess.
of the Genova
The
DNA
entire
that.
cast of
Who
Hollander's
knows? Maybe in a
freak
previous
show.
planet they all
Shut
had
up,
wings,
you!
and she
Loveless,
used them to
Act 4.
basically she just
Where the
absorbed them
two
and added
friends
them into
challenge
her
each
sort of-
other to a
her
Yeah, I don't know. We
innocence.
don't really
An
know for a
ancient epic.
fact
I
if
read it
Genova
thinking it
even
might
consumed
aid
any
my
other
research.
planets. That's just what the
But
ancients
pure
say,
drivel.
and that's just a story
Honest
passed
to
down.
do,
We don't
Anne.
even know if that's true.
Unknown. The last act is missing.
If Hojo died
And
here,
yet
it'd be
to
funny
be
if they did a
discovered.
Chrono Trigger ending.
There
Yeah,
are various theories.
like just stab him, Genesis.
We would
Like,
never. Let's see. How would that change the timeline of 7?
If Hojo died here, and we assume that also Genesis and Angel died
mysterious
here,
gift
because
of
I
the
think if we
goddess.
were to leave them alive, it'd get too complicated
What
too
is the
fast.
meaning behind it?
Then you
For
would
us,
have
at least.
Sephiroth still going insane.
Hey,
You would have
hold it,
Cloud
Genesis!
winning that confrontation with Nibelheim burning to the ground. But then you would have Zack and Cloud arriving at Midgar probably not long after the destruction of
My
Nibelheim.
soul corrupted by vengeance,
and maybe running into Tifa sooner.
hath endured
So, like,
torment
Tifa
to
traveled
find
around
the
with
end
Zangief,
of the
right?
journey in my own salvation.
Or not Zangief,
Zandan.
Wait, yeah, I was like, wait, I feel like beginning Z.
Zangan. I mean, Zangief, it's the same thing.
Big Papa
He's
Z.
So-
summoning again.
You also wouldn't.
Zach,
You would
I
still
need to
have
see you.
Aaron.
Huh?
He's cupping
You can
a
do
Zach
this.
boob right
Trust
there.
me.
I saw it. I saw the nipple
Don't
twist.
leave me here! Stop! Come back!
You're such a beta, Zach. You're such a beta.
Aerith? Listen, can I call you back later?
Oh, a girl. Ew.
I have some company.
What prettier shit. Meanwhile, a phallic. Oh, damn! It's a stand from fucking
JoJo.
Don't keep your guest waiting, she says.
I like that. I get that they're supposed to be being sweet on each other, but it.
Activating combat mode.
Bahamut Fury.
I could call it as vomit.
Yeah, but they have so many different versions. I still love the one from 10 that's found. It's so Lovecraftian and nightmarish. It's so much torment all the time.
Athens said Sephiroth has Seymour. Athens said, "Well, Sephiroth has one-up Cloud. He was the first to penetrate Tifa." Incorrect. He slashed her. He did not stab her. And you would be better off saying that Sephiroth one-up Tifa by penetrating Cloud first.
So if anything, Tifa's getting Sephiroth leftovers.
Yeah.
This is a weird molecule that's created here. Like, let's be real. Like, I could be a kinky guy, and you know, I've messed around. I'm very loose, relaxed things. Oh my god, this is just fucking. Who needs Meteor?
He's throwing the moon at you.
Oh no! I'm gonna die.
Oh my god, it's not a moon. It's
What
a
would you
space
do in this
station.
situation?
Die, I guess.
Evidently. Oh my god. Alright, let's review
That's
the equipment and try it again, because that was me just not hitting him fast enough. Okay.
We are getting close to the hour the 2 hour mark.
Yeah,
So, you know.
let's see, can we go and save and quit then? Because that'll require grinding. Big old grinding.
Alright.
So
Off camera grind.
Oh yeah, no, about a day, an hour every day. No problem. Go, no fiddle with it.
Good boy. You gotta just interrupt that attack for sure.
Oh yeah, which is fine if I get a little closer.
Yeah. You gotta once he does the balls, you gotta dodge the balls and then run at him.
Yeah.
Why you somersault it?
Yeah, I'm not optimized.
Yeah. You kind of want to get it. Yes, he's gonna knock you back.
I need to get
Here.
Come on. Hey.
You just kind of gotta weird. Yeah, there you go.
Fire blade.
There you go. Back off after 3 hits.
No, I'm always a greedy fucker.
You are a greedy fucker.
They
So greedy.
They call me Greedbeard on certain websites.
Good time on it.
Yeah, hopefully it cancels out something he does, but nope. Oh, it did.
It did. No.
Great.
Yeah.
Up.
Yeah, there you go. Your invincibility frames. Let's go. Get that Bloodborne rolling.
Oh, here we go. Here we
no,
go. 75. 50.
One more. You got it. One more.
No. Oh. Wait, it's only gonna be 25% power.
Nice.
I really love the armor. It kind of reminds me of the Emperor's.
You really think of Gilgamesh with his the gate.
Yeah.
I remember when I was facing Sephiroth, he was Meteor and did almost 0 damage, but then he slashed me with his sword and killed my guys one by one.
Oh,
you're like,
that seems like a flex on his part.
And it makes me think of fucking Final Fantasy VIII when
Fox.
Principal is definitely not Robin Williams. Gives you the magic lamp and says be careful with it, and when you rub it, the devil comes out.
Right.
But the devil can't do any damage if you blind him.
75. 50. No! Oh, this is gonna hurt a lot.
That's what you get. That's what you get for rolling around. You're just too busy tumbling.
It's kind of like when a turtle is scared.
Yeah. Automatic response.
Let me have that. Okay, no, I took that, but just. Oh my god. Okay.
That's great.
Oh,
you have a healing wave.
Oh, I was gonna say thank you, Tifa.
Good job, Tifa. Thanks, girl.
Sorry, my mind is now once again back to the
I really do not like that it fucking... You did... Stop rolling! He's not doing anything! You're faster when you run! Nice. You greedy bastard.
There we go.
There you go!
Oh yeah!
Woo! He just his head. Oh, I guess I lost.
I don't know, I like the idea that it tilts its head and then falls on top of you and fucking crushes you.
Like the end of Dead Space with the
Already yassified Zach. I did not like that when you did the Aerith summon that the camera was facing then towards your face and away from Bahamut. That was garbage.
Oh, this is where Rufus makes his appearance after his dad dies. I really liked that one because the helicopter was watching the whole time. I thought that was very cool.
What? This can't be after his dad dies because his dad gets killed.
No. This is where it happens.
Oh,
remember?
the location.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, got you.
Yeah.
I thought you meant like in this game. I was like, hi, pinup of Aerith.
Of questionably aged, only good in Asia, Aerith.
Yeah, I think she's 16 in this, isn't she?
Yeah.
Or originally, I don't think that might not canonically make sense now, but there's things that happen in this game that don't canonically make any sense now because we have a full read.
Well, we got through 2 chapters. Do you know how many chapters there are? Could you just check for me?
Oh my god, no, I don't. But damn, that's really good for us considering we got through like half of a chapter one at a time.
How many chapters in Crisis Core? There is 10. We're halfway through the game now. So this time next week, hopefully we'll get another 2 more in. Sorry.
Next week.
Next month.
Next month, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
That'll probably be the 25th, right?
Bloop.
That's the last Wednesday of the month.
Yeah. Okay. I guess that'll be our time to show.
Hey, let's go.
Let's go. All right. So that was a lot of fun, and now I am going to go and just quit the whole damn game.
Get us out, man. Get us out of here.
There. Boom. Done. All right. So that was very fun. Madam, hope to see you next month for another 2 ones. And of course, after that, we have the actual real star of this show, and the whole reason it started with Final Fantasy VII, the remake. I'm just so looking forward to that.
Hey, let's go.
But link in the doobly-doo for you. Anything you want to promote?
Tomorrow I'm going to be talking about some of the American versus Canada stuff and the Golden Dome and junk tomorrow. The king came to visit. Ooh. Pierre Polyev embarrassed himself. We'll be going over some of that stuff tomorrow. And then I've got the pub on Saturday. So if you do enjoy talking politics and that kind of stuff, join us on Saturday with Landon, Dapper, and Money.
Nice. As for me, the next time we're going to see U.F.F. is going to be with Magicus. I have to reach out to him and find out what day that is, because that's for Final Fantasy IV. And we are still looking for a third person who has stuff that has nothing to do with Final Fantasy, or if they want to do stuff with Final Fantasy, they can, but I have to A, know them, and B, they have to make a strong case for it, because I've already got a few maybes. There's one person who wants to go through Psychonauts with me.
Ooh, that'll be good.
Yeah, another one wants to go do a huge playthrough of Borderlands. They have 4,000 hours in that game. Can you believe that shit? But there's always room for at least one more person to throw their hat into the ring. In the meantime, beyond that, I'm sure I'm going to do other stuff here on the channel pretty soon. This Sunday, we have Red Eye returning for Bearded Ramblings, along with Krendar, who's back from his holidays. So, that said, thank you all so much. This has been a hoot, and I will